welcome back to Beauty Bees and to my makeup inventory. I do these every 6 months and we just check in, see how my collection is changing. Hopefully it is not growing too much. That's really the main goal of this. If it could shrink a little bit, that'd be awesome. If there's a little bit of slow growth, I want to keep an eye on that. But in general, I want to keep things just in check, under control, because things can get very out of control very quickly. So we are starting out with base products as well as like cream blush and highlight. If I had cream bronzer, they would also be out here too. Base products are probably the only area where my collection is consistently well under control. I don't wear a lot of base makeup and I don't feel any great desire to purchase a lot of base makeup. So let's just go through things. We'll start with primer. I have 4 primers right now. That is up from 3 back in December. Now I would have had these 3 primers in that last video. I haven't used any primers up. I very recently received from Maybelline this Fit Me Matte and Poreless primer. They were giving out free full-size products and I was able to snag this one. I haven't tried it yet. I will let you know how I feel about it when I do try it, but my stash has gone from 3 to 4. I'm fine with that. No big deal. I would really like to have this Jelly Pop Dew Primer gone by the next video. I'm not sure if that'll happen or not. It's in a project right now, but I'm just not using it consistently at all. So we'll see. Next up, let's do concealer. In the last video, I had 2. Now I am down to 1. I decluttered one from e.l.f. that was just a little bit too dark and quite a bit too warm for me. The one that I have now is just a mini from NARS, and I really like this. I think that once I use this up, I will probably purchase a full size. In the last video, I did not have a foundation. Now I have 1 foundation. It is the Pretty Fresh from ColourPop. I'm pretty happy with this. This is a really good shade match for my skin tone. I wear the shade Fair 03C, and it's really lovely. So concealer, foundation, pretty much constant, change of 1 in each category. That's just fine. And powder, in the last video I had 4 powders. Now I still have 4, but there has been a little bit of a shift here. Now these 3 powders, this Laura Mercier loose powder, the Laura Geller powder foundation, and this By Terry powder, all would have been in that previous video. I think I also had a little MAC powder, but that actually fell on the carpet as I was putting things away from that inventory video, and it was not salvageable. I did get this little Laura Mercier sample from Sephora. This is their translucent pressed setting powder. I've used it a couple of times. It is just a mini, but I don't use a ton of powder, so I suspect this will still last me a very long time. So no change in numbers there, but there has been a shift in the products themselves. And as per usual, the base products are well under control. I have no concerns here. Now let's move on to the cream blush and highlight. I have 2 cream highlights is what I'm going to call these. I kind of went back and forth on whether I wanted to call these primers or highlighters or where exactly these were going to fit in. Both of these are new to my collection since the last video. I have the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter and the Pixi Rose Plus Radiance Perfector. Both of these give a really subtle glow to the skin. the e.l.f. is definitely more impactful than the Pixie, but I have 2 of them. I don't need more of this type of product, but I really am enjoying these. So I went from having 0 cream highlighters to 2. Now in the cream blush category, there was also some growth. There are 2 new products here. So everything over on this side was here in that previous video when I had, let's see, 6 cream blushes. Now I am up to 7. I have added these 2. We have a Fenty cream blush in Pinky Promise, which is a pretty sort of corally pink, and a Tarte cream blush in Coconuts, which is sort of a bronzy shade. Still very blush-like, but a little bit more bronze to it than anything else I have in my collection. So this category has crept up by 1. I decluttered another one of these e.l.f. monochromatic multi-sticks. And I feel like now that I have the Tarte, which I think is a much nicer formula than the multi-stick is, and a little bit less orange, I might end up decluttering this one as well. But this is not the video for that. For right now, I have 7 cream blushes. All right, so this next spread has blush, bronzer, and highlight in powder form. I'm looking over things, and I think there might not be anything new in this spread, which is absolutely awesome. Yeah, I'm looking through things. I think I did a really good job. I don't think I bought any new powder, blush, bronzer, highlights in the past 6 months. But let's go through things and see if maybe I've assumed decluttered or finished anything. And I know that I finished a powder blush, so there might actually be some movement here. That would be really exciting. So in the last video, I had 10 total powder bronzers, and today I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there has been a decrease of 1 in the bronzer category. In the blush category, I had 24, and today I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Is that right? Did I go down by 4 blushes? That's amazing. I think that might even be right, because I finished 1 that I remember. I know that I decluttered at least 1. Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. I have not been at 20 blushes since December of 2022. So that is absolutely awesome. I'm really happy with that. That's really cool. That means that my whole blush category actually went down even, combining powder and cream blush. Even though I did purchase 2 cream blushes, the totals actually did go down a little bit. That's really exciting. That is probably going to be the highlight of this video for me. But we do still have 1 category left, and that is powder highlighter. Now I did declutter a powder highlighter out of this palette. It was the shade 5th Avenue. It was just too dark for me to use as a highlighter, and I thought this palette was magnetic. I realized halfway through tearing it out that it was not, so that was a bummer. Anyway, I had 14 powder highlighters in that last video, and today I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Huh. So how did I declutter one but still end up with the same number? I assume there was one item here that was classified as a blush in a previous video. Probably this one. That would be my guess. Because I am very sure at this point that none of these are new. Anyway, it's movement in the right direction. I'm really happy with this, and I'm excited to see now if my lip and eye products are also, staying very steady to maybe even slightly decreasing. That would be really exciting. All right, so next up is spread of eye products number 1. This is what I've generally called my eye accessories, as well as liquid eyeshadows, because I figured this was an easy way to make my spreads a little bit more even and hopefully be able to keep my eyeshadow down to 3 spreads rather than 4. So let's start with eye primer. In my last video, I had one eye primer. It would have been the Put a Lid on It from the Balm. At the time of filming, I had just recently decided it was time to declutter my old NYX glitter primer, and I had not yet replaced it with this one. So I was very temporarily down at 1. I had been at 2 for the previous 2 videos before that, and now I am back to 2. I really have not been using eye primer very often. It wouldn't surprise me if after I decide this is no longer good, which should probably be pretty soon, because I'm pretty sure I purchased this 2 years ago now, and it was on clearance, so I can't imagine it was a very new product. I will probably stick to just having a glitter primer. My eyelids are not super oily anymore, so I don't have too much of an issue with most eyeshadows if I'm not wearing primer. That was a lot of talking for a category that really needed very little explanation. Next we have mascara. In the last video I had 2, and now I am down to just 1. I am down to just having this Pacifica Activist Volume, and that feels kind of weird, but I actually need to replenish a category in this inventory. That rarely, if ever, happens. Good job, Iris. Next, we'll move to eyeliner. In the last video, I had 18, and today I have 15. Is that right? Yes, I have 15 today. Okay, I think I can make sense of that. I, just within the last week or so, decluttered an old Wet n Wild Breakup Proof. I called it an empty because I'd been using it for well over a year at this point, but I moved this Maybelline to being my on-deck liquid black eyeliner. I finished a green eyeliner from Beauty For Real, and I decluttered one of the Mr. Right Nows in like a plummy color because it started to irritate my eyes. So I have actually gone down 3 in this category. That is super, super exciting. My brow products, though, have absolutely exploded. Now, some of that is just cyclical. I tend to purchase quite a few of the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil when I purchase them, and I was down to having just one that was in progress. So I needed to replenish my stock, and I purchased 4. I have received this e.l.f. Clear Lash and Brow Mascara both this year and last year for the birthday gift, and I haven't used either of them. I think that once I am done with the Kosas Airbrow which is also new, actually. This was part of the birthday gift from Sephora this year. I will open one of these and see if I like it. And if I don't, then I will pass the other one unopened on to my sister or something. The brow pomade from e.l.f. I would have had in the previous video. And then this Jasmine Beauty Brow Boss I got in an Allure beauty box and have not used. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of brow products. I am currently sitting at 4, 6, 10. Oofta, that is more than I have ever had. My previous high was 7, and that was back in December of 2022. In the last video, I was down to 3. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But, you know, in the big scheme of things, it's not like I went nuts and purchased a bunch of stuff. I received 2 free mascaras and replenished my stock of Instant Lift brow pencils. No big, I just need to make sure that I'm not somehow acquiring like 15 more brow gels, because that would somehow be relatively easy to do. You wouldn't think so, but it can happen. And the last category in the spread is liquid shadows. In the last video I have had 9, now I have 8. I have no idea how that changed, unless maybe this e.l.f. was counted as a liquid eyeshadow. Always a possibility. I really have not been using these at all. I think the only one that I would have used since the last video, so in the last 6 months, might be this Giorgio Armani one. This is a category that I'm not going to declutter anything, at least I don't intend to, because I do like these, but I think that in the future it would be smarter to have like 1, not to have 8, because I just don't use them consistently. Right, now we are moving on to eyeshadows. So there has been a little bit of movement here. I have decluttered some things, I've hit pan on some things, and I have brought in 2 new palettes. We'll talk about those in just a sec. Let's start with ColourPop Super Shocks. These are an area where I find it really easy to accumulate quite a few, so I like to keep an eye on these separately from the rest of my eyeshadows. I have not purchased any since the last video. I also have not decluttered or finished any. So I was at 11 in the last video, and watch me now not be at 11. Okay, thank goodness. I am still at 11, so no change here. Similarly, there's been no change in my pigments. I have these 2 from Sydney Grace that are giant that I will never finish. And this one is actually pretty scary to me because it's pretty dark. I continue to have to. I will probably have to until I declutter them or the world ends, whichever one comes first. I also have one little eyeshadow from Natasha Denona that is a magnetic single, but has its own adorable little case, so I just keep it in there and don't have it in with the rest of my magnetic singles. Now let's move to palettes. I have my eye palettes that I've had in previous videos closed up. The 2 new acquisitions since the last update are open here at the bottom. First, we have the Viseart Violette Vespertine. I think that this is absolutely beautiful. It's sort of a mauve-toned purple neutral palette. Gorgeous for every day. I think this row of mattes at the top is so unassuming, but absolutely gorgeous. These are the perfect gradient. These form the perfect gradient of neutral for my skin tone. I love this palette. I think it is beautiful. I also bought Juvia's The Taupes. I'm not super impressed with this palette. I think it is nice. I think the color scheme is very approachable and easy to use, but it's just not wowing me. There's nothing incredible about this palette. But I did bring in 2 palettes, and there are a total of 18 shades between the 2. So let's count up what else I have out here. I have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 32, 42, 47. There are 4 eyeshadow shades in here, bringing that up to 51, 57, 66, 72, 80, 88, 96. There are 4 shades in here, so 100 even, very convenient. I believe this is an 18 pan palette. Yes, so we are at 118 with the Fairy Tale Forest, and then the Natasha Denona Retro Glam has 15 shades, so there are 133 shades in this spread, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 palettes. All right, let's move on to eyeshadow spread number 2. All right, so this next spread has ColourPop plus a little bit of e.l.f. I have these 2 e.l.f. 18 pan palettes. I like them. They've been in several of the previous updates, and that's actually true for everything here. Nothing here is particularly new. I haven't purchased from ColourPop in quite a while, so not much change here. There are 1, 2, 8, 10, 12 palettes sitting in front of me, and they have a total of 36, 66, 96, 105, 117, 126, 135, 144, plus 27, 171 shades in them. All right, time for the last spread of eyeshadow. Okay, and the last spread of eyeshadow consists of my magnetic singles. Over here we have my I Want Pan palette, which is comprised mostly of magnetic singles. There are 9 magnetic singles in here, and then I have 3 shades that would have been accounted for in other palettes. So this little Visear shade and these 2 ColourPop shadows both would have been counted for in previous spreads. And I don't think I have purchased any single eyeshadows. I know that I have decluttered 1 or 2, and I have hit pan in a few over the past several months. So there has been some nice change here. Now let's count things up. Like I said, I have 9 in here. 14 plus 4 is 18, so 27 total. 5 times 5 is 25, so now we are at 52, plus 24 is 76, plus 18 is 94, and then we cannot forget the single that I showed in, what was that, the first spread, that little Natasha Denona single. I have 95 total magnetic singles, which I think is great, and I am pretty sure that my number of palettes has gone down as well. I haven't counted up my total number of eyeshadows. I'll do that in just a second. But I had 32 palettes in the last video, now I'm down to 31. Awesome. I had 99 magnetic singles, and now I'm down to 95. Again, awesome. Beetle. Yeah, you're cute, but you're not sniffing my makeup. So that's been a nice change. It looks like I didn't specifically count up my magnetic singles in the last video, so that comparison is actually with June of 2023. and I'll have to count up my total eyeshadows. Let me do that, 1 second. All right, it looks like my total number of eyeshadows has actually not changed at all. In the last video, I had 412, and I still have 412. All right, and the last spread of this video and of my makeup inventory. All right, so the last spread of my makeup inventory is my lip products. I don't put a lot of weight on the individual category numbers because, you know, there are some things that some years I probably call them a tinted lip balm, and then other years I call them a lipstick. But I do place a lot of weight on the total number. So with that said, let's look at things by category. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12 lip liners, which is exactly the same number that I had in the last video. That's not surprising. I use a red lip liner once in a while, but that's about it. I don't use lip liner very consistently. I also don't tend to buy lip liners, so that's fine. I'm perfectly good with where that category is. For mini lipsticks, it looks like the last couple videos I have not specifically broken those out, but today I decided to, and I have 6 minis here. 2 of these would be new since the last video. We have the Kosas Wet Lip Oil. This is the other half of the birthday gift from Sephora this year. I also have this mini Purlisse Juicy Tint Lip Nourisher, which is a very lightly tinted, tinted lip balm. Lipsticks, I currently have 4. Looking at what I have in front of me, it looks like I would have had 7 in my last video, and I would have the exact same 7 today. None of these are new. I am working on finishing this little Bare Minerals mini, but it's not quite there yet. So no change there. For glosses, in my last video I had 13, and today I have 11, 12 if we count the little Kosas. So there has been some good movement here. I know that I have finished at least 1 that I can think of, and I probably had to declutter 1 maybe. There are 2 new things here though. So first we have this ColourPop So Juicy. I went back and forth on if I wanted to count this as a gloss or a lipstick. I decided on gloss for no real reason. This is the shade Dolled Up. It's pretty pink and it's like a click pen. The other new item would be this e.l.f. one. This is the e.l.f. lip lacquer in Whisper Pink, which I think is actually more of a peach, but no one asked me. So that category has crept down just a little bit, which is awesome. Okay, the rest of this video is going to be pretty quick because my dog will destroy something if I don't keep him in my lap, and just keeping him in my lap is not a long-term solution. So I think I was talking about glosses. That went down a little bit. Next we're going to move to tinted balms. I counted 9 in the last video. I have 10 that I'm calling lip balms today. One of them is new, so maybe my categorization is actually kind of similar. This YSL, what are these called? I have no idea. Can you read that? Rouge Volupté Shine. Thank you, Beetle, for your assistance. Is new, so I am at 10 that I'm counting today. That actually makes sense. I know that I have used 1UP. I've used up another of these NARS Afterglow lip balms. And that leaves us just with bullet lipsticks. So in my last video, I counted as 39 bullet lipsticks. Today I have 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 16, 18, 19, 24, 27, 31. Does that make sense? Oh, no. 34, 38. Okay, awesome. So, assuming that I counted that this NARS Mini in my bullet lipsticks last time, I would be at exactly the same number. That is awesome. I have finished a couple. I have decluttered a couple. Let's go through what is new here, because I have been buying some lip products. This Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in Wedding Bells would be new since the last video. This is a really pretty, like, peachy nude color. Let's see. I think everything else in this row I would have had. This Milani lipstick is new. This is the shade 210 Nylon in their Fruit Fetish lipsticks. These two CoverGirl lipsticks might be new. And, oh, I forgot to mention this earlier, but this ColourPop Just a Tint is also new to me, as is this LYS lipstick. And I don't think I can hold Beetle back any further, so let's add some things up. 81 total lip products. So my number has gone up by 1 since the last video. I'm fine with that. I'm really happy with the progress that I've made in this category. This is an area where I can really easily accumulate a lot, and I have slowed my buying down quite a bit and been focusing on using things up. So this is awesome for me. I really am pretty happy with where this is, but it is a good reminder to maybe not purchase all the lipsticks. There was 1 month, I think April, where I think I purchased like 5 or 6 lipsticks, and that was just too many. And yep, Beetle is done. Beetle is ready to do something else. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please consider liking and subscribing if you did, and I hope that I will see all of you in the next one. Bye guys.